Hi there, this is Ideas on Truth, and I'm Lisa Taylor, and tonight we are talking about relationships. Oh my gosh. We all have them. We all deal with them. And you know, I learned something recently. Well, I didn't learn it recently, but I was reminded of it recently for a good reason. It's so much better to assume positive intent on other people's parts. And when we go into conflict, when we go into issues in relationships, and we assume the worst about the other person, it doesn't go well. When we assume positive intent, we assume that they're doing the best they can. We hope that they're assuming that we're doing the best we can. Don't you always want that? I know I do. It always goes better. And anytime there's an issue with a relationship, with a communication, with some misunderstanding, only always does it come back to us. Always. It comes back to, how am I viewing the other person? What am I thinking about them? What am I thinking their intent is? What am I thinking they were trying to do, or they were trying to say, or why were they trying to hurt me, or whatever? It's my thought of them that's the issue. If I really had my thought clear, and I was really seeing them as God's child, as pure and perfect and following their highest sense of right, I probably wouldn't react the way I do. I probably wouldn't think the things that I do. I would not be thinking something negative. I would be ascribing to them positive things, positive qualities, positive intent. And it helps. I can give you one little example. This is actually a little bit different, but I went into a meeting that potentially could have been very contentious, and because somebody had done something that went completely against what we are accustomed to doing in a protocol kind of way that we use. And I went in with positive intent. I went in with assuming positive intent. And I opened up the conversation by saying, please share with me, help me understand why you made the decision that you did. Because on first blush, it made no sense to me, and I felt like, I was going to go in and get defensive about something. And instead, I went in and I thought, okay, let's just assume that they had very good intentions in doing what they did and deciding to do what they did. And I just don't know why. So let me find out why. Let me find out more. So, help me understand. Please explain. Explain. So it ended up being a really productive and good conversation, and we discovered lots of things that we could do to make the process better, and it opened the door to progress instead of butting heads and just rehashing what was a perceived problem. So why do issues with relationships always start with and come back to us, begin and end with us? Because what we hold in our thought about another is what we experience. Plain and simple. What we hold in our thought is what we will experience, particularly about other people. It's kind of like that old survey that they did of teachers in classrooms. When the teachers were told that all the students were excelled and were high-achieving students, when actually they were very low-achieving students. But the teacher was told, these are all incredibly high-achieving students. The teacher went in assuming that these students were all highly intelligent and were able to absorb all of this information. And guess what? The students did really, really well. And conversely, when the students were all really high-achieving students, but the teacher was told that these are low-achieving students and really struggle in this, I think it was math they were testing it with, guess what? The students did really badly. So what we hold in our thought, what we expect, what we hold in our thought about the other is what we're going to experience. And 9 times out of 10, if we don't like what someone's doing, or we don't like the way they're treating us, or we don't like what they're thinking about us and we're ascribing that to them, we just need to clean up our own backyard. It's always that. There's a line in the book that I always quote, Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures by Mary Baker Eddy. She says, the intercommunication is always between God and his idea man. So the intercommunication is not from person to person. It's always from God to man, and then on the other person, God to man. And then we're sharing that view of the other. We're sharing the view that God is giving us of the other person by seeing them rightly. And everything always turns out better that way. So anyway, this is my little reminder to myself to check my thought. Before I start criticizing or judging somebody else, check my thought. What am I thinking about them? And do I need to clean up my own backyard? All right, that's my note tonight. Lots of love. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Share this out with anyone who you think might like these ideas. Like, share, subscribe. That's my motto. All right, lots of love to you. See you next time.